Well, can you tell where I am? Big pencil in the sky. Yeah, and actually that is opposite the Lincoln Memorial down there. And then on the other side of the pencil in the sky is the Capitol building. So that's a straight line between them. And the White House is up that way. That way. Just a block up there. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. Probably can't. Not a lot of trees high. A lot of lush green. But there's not a lot of lush green money coming out of the Capitol yet. So if you're worrying about the stimulus package, curious, worried, probably both, they packed up and went home. They're supposed to make a decision today and they couldn't agree yesterday. So they're probably not going to agree today. And of course, everybody points back, no, it's not, he did it. No, he did it. No, he did it. No, he is like kids in the playground, right? Well, but something will happen. It looks like what they've agreed upon. So this worst case scenario is the 1,200 will come from the IRS. The unemployment will be extended. They agreed actually on 400. Republicans started with 200 and the Democrats at 800. So they're already up to 400 on that. So that's sort of the bottom line that they agreed upon. They want to extend the moratorium on evictions. And actually the White House said if they don't agree that somehow he's going to extend unemployment, which he can't, it seems, because money has to be authorized from the legislator, not from him, but he can maybe extend the moratorium on evictions. And also your state may have moratoriums, your county may have moratoriums. So that's another source. So it's going to be a while. Everybody thinks, I think the Democrats think they have the momentum and they could hold out. And the Republicans, it sounds like, I mean, I don't know. I don't study this. There are people in this town who spend every minute of their waking life studying this. And I just read a few articles and guess like everybody else. But McConnell, who runs the Senate, and that's what's holding things up. The House already agreed to $3 trillion. The Senate only wants to do $1 trillion. And he already has half of his senators, which are probably half of the Senate. There's 100 in the Senate. So about 50 are Republicans, 50 are Democrats, but they have an extra one or two to give the Republicans the majority. So half of those Republicans say they're not going to do for anything. And I think one of the points is that we haven't spent the last $3 trillion. And that's sort of true in a way. Some of it has not. Oh, by the way, the other thing of contention is getting money for opening schools, which seems to be, I don't think that's much of a problem. And also extra money for state and local governments. I mean, they're all broke because they have been all the extra services that were required for the pandemic. So, and they're getting no revenue from taxes. So they're broke and will go out of business if they don't get money, it sounds like. So those kinds of things. But there is some money that has not been spent, and it's not enough to cover the unemployment, certainly. But I just found some recently, it's coming up and helping people with eviction notices and utility payments and things like that. I just did a video on the one that's happening in Minnesota and how to find your state that has that. Every state has something like, they got that money. So how do they spend it? And Minnesota's now going to start a program in about 2 weeks that will give money for rent, mortgage payments or utility payments, and other things that for housing stuff. And that's in Minnesota. So you got to check out what's your state. Minnesota, I mean, look at that. I have that video on YouTube too. So if you're not a Let's Go Help member, you could see it there. But I also have a report from for Lesco Help members with that, and it's it's a way. That's where a lot of this money is going. See, it's going to the states, and the federal money, is only a certain thing, and then they give a bunch of money to the states. And the interesting thing about the state money is that it's limited. There's only, like the money for the $1,200. That's like unlimited. If you meet those requirements, you can get that no matter if 10 billion more people apply. The law says they have to keep printing the money. Now, the same way with unemployment. If you meet those requirements, they have to keep printing the money. So it's not limited. Other programs, like the ones that are going to the state to help you pay for rent or mortgage, utility bills, those kinds of things, that's limited. So it's either first come, first serve, or they have a lottery or whatever. So that's why you have to know about that ahead of time. Say it's like Social Security. That's not limited. You apply, you're eligible for Social Security, they'll keep it coming out all the time. Money to start a business, that would be limited, likely, most of the time, 90%, maybe there's some that aren't, there's always exceptions, but that kind of, or grants for the arts and things like that, that's limited. They only have so much money to give out. So that's why that's the two different kinds of money that are coming in. Both you don't have to pay back, but one is unlimited and the other one is limited. So that's why your state is limited than what they're giving out. So that's why you want to know ahead of time. That's why I'm teaching you how to do a Google alert. So you're alerted to this. And the video I did today is, it's not even available yet. So you're not alerting. It's alert about the potential. They're organizing to give out the money, and they don't call it grants or anything. So if you Google the word grants and Minnesota, you'll never find it because they don't even use the word grants. So that's why it is. You have to keep trying different words. So when you have a alert, you have a Google with anything, you don't say, "Oh, I want a grant in Minnesota." Oh, there is none. You don't know. I don't know. It's too complicated. And that's why you have to start learning to be knowledgeable in using this Google. Otherwise, all you're going to do is say, "I want a grant," and you're going to see 10, 20, 40 billion websites, and only 3 of them will mean something to you. You'll never find them, but you'll run into hundreds, thousands, millions of other websites that make you feel comfortable to click, and then they'll get your money to solve your problem. And they probably won't solve it anyway, but they'll have your money. And that's why it's so easy to get caught up into that, because you don't know your alternative. So you have to be a smart researcher to get along in this country. You can't rely on just, "I'm going to Google it." No, you got to start learning what Google's all about, when it's good, when it's not good, how to use it. I mean, if you know like the name of an office that's giving out the money and where it is, then you could just put in that money, then put in the name of that office, and not try to guess what they call that money, because there's 1,000 different words. It could be called stimulus, it could be called relief, it could be called see, actually the Minnesota things, they don't even give you the money. They pay your bill. They're paying your bill. So they go to your landlord, your mortgage people, the utility company. They write off they send them the check for you. So you don't even see the money, but you got rid of the bill. See, how would you know to ask about that? I mean, that's why it's too complicated out there. Just be careful. I mean, and until you learn, just don't use any .com, and just stay with .org and .gov until you figure it out, because it's just too dangerous. It's sort of like, the lifeguard saying, "Shark alert." So there's one shark in the water somewhere, but you just get your ass out of there. And maybe a mile away or whatever, not hurt you, but you don't swim fast enough. So just get out of there. So there's sharks in the internet too. So that's why when you use that, you have to remember that You just don't want to be there. And the way to use the internet and not be with the sharks is just stay away from .coms. That's not foolproof either. There may be some .orgs that are slick enough to become an org and get your money. So it's not, but it's going to. It's maybe like the virus, eliminate 99%. If I wear a mask, oh sure, I may still get it somehow, but I'm cutting my risk down a whole lot, and that's the same way with Google. So you have to wear a mask when you use Google. It's not guaranteed that you won't lose money to some shark, but you're going to reduce your chances a whole lot. So what's going to happen? You're going to get at least $1,200. If you're on unemployment, you'll get at least $400 a week. What else? You're going to get at least a moratorium on being evicted. What else? School, you probably don't care for as an individual. See, the big ones are going to hurt places that give you help in life, whether it's a government or schools and things like that. See, they're the ones that are trying to need money to continue too, besides individuals. So that's where a lot of this is. So stay tuned. It's exciting. Like, man, you get through this COVID shit, and you're going to be a superpower person. Right? If you can handle this, you can handle anything. Come on, life. What do you got to throw at me next?